House Leader, third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The Minister for Energy and Mines has repeatedly said that the BC Liberals pushed Site C past the point of no return and that his government had no choice but to keep building this dam. This is inaccurate. We all know that Site C was not past the point of no return when the NDP took office. It was this government that decided, in spite of the evidence, to proceed with the project. In 2017, the BC Utilities Commission found that we could cancel Site C and replace the electricity with renewables, including wind and solar, at the same or lower cost to British Columbians. And now, 3 years later, Site C is facing even more massive cost overruns and delays than were predicted. My question is to the Minister of Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources. The Minister has said that he doesn't know how high the costs are going to go, and yet he's still saying that Site C is past the point of no return. How can this be when we don't even know how deep the fiscal hole will be? Is there a price tag that will make the government walk away?
Minister, Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank the House Leader of the third party for her question. The old government was indeed and in fact committed to pushing this project past the point of no return. They said so explicitly. They also refused to let the BC Utilities Commission review Site C before they recklessly signed off on it. We asked the BCUC to conduct a review of the project when we formed government, and we carefully considered their report. And as we said at the time, our government was forced to make a decision looking forward, not backwards. We've been clear that Site C is not a project we would have started, but we weren't prepared to ask British Columbians to immediately take on $4 billion in debt with nothing in return. This would have affected badly needed investments in schools, hospitals, and other important infrastructure. We have been left to manage the project in the best interests of British Columbians, and this is what we will continue to do. We knew there were cost pressures and risks on the Site C project when we formed government. The COVID-19 pandemic has dramatically added to these challenges. In March, BC Hydro significantly scaled down the project and focused only on essential work and meeting critical milestones. This was done in line with the advice from the provincial health officer to ensure the safety both of workers and of communities. This approach has ensured that we are on track to achieve river diversion, a key step in constructing a project this fall. While this work is underway, BC Hydro will conduct their rebaselining analysis of the project. And Mr. Milburn will work with BC Hydro and the Project Assurance Board to review the measures the project has in place. He will provide an important role in examining the project and provide me and our government with independent advice and a fresh perspective.
House Leader, third party on a supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And so let's step back and assess this situation. The Minister will not provide a price tag. And the bad news from Site C continues to pile up. Tension cracks, landslides, ongoing problems with the diversion tunnels, and the latest BC Hydro report tells us even more of the geotechnical problems. There's a stability problem under the foundations for the powerhouse, the spillways, and the dam itself, and nobody knows what it will take or how much it will cost to fix. And today, the CCPA reported, according to federal data, over 10,000 fracking-related earthquakes have happened in the Peace River region in a space of 2 years, where Site C sits, further endangering this project. Government's financial capacity will be strained for years to come due to COVID-19, and yet this government wants to forge ahead and sink unlimited money into this project instead of helping British Columbians. It's time to act on the calls for responsible governance. It's time to take responsibility for their actions. It's time to cancel Site C. My question for you, Honourable Speaker, is to the Minister of Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources. Site C is this government's responsibilities and nobody else's. With all of these challenges mounting, how can this government justify forging ahead?
Minister, Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank the member for her question. The issue of cost and schedule is a topic that I am deeply concerned about after the reports that were released weeks ago. And that's the reason why I've asked Peter Milburn in his role as special advisor to work with BC Hydro. And I think it's important when we look back at Site C project, when we first formed government in 2017, it was facing cost pressures and risks then. These have worsened in large part due to the global COVID-19 pandemic. And as I've said, BC Hydro is undertaking a rebaselining analysis of the project. This includes reviewing the cost and time required to complete the main work for the project. But that work is not yet complete. That will help when we get it. It will help our government understand the true impact the pandemic has had on the budget. And I expect to be able to provide an update on cost projections later this fall. The member also mentions, if I might, Mr. Speaker, the projects, the issues raised in a recent report released today. BC Hydro works closely with seismic hazard specialists and researchers to review the ground motion data in the region. It's important to remember that when we first formed government, we knew British Columbians had concerns about hydraulic fracturing. That's why we asked an independent scientific panel to look at the role of hydraulic fracturing and how it relates to seismic events, impacts on water quality, and fugitive methane emissions. Last spring, the panel provided their report to our government, and I'm pleased to say we've already implemented a number of their recommendations. For example, we've introduced new mapping zones that are likely to experience greater ground motion from seismic events. We will continue to work hard on implementing these recommendations as well.